Hello, welcome back to the Bleeping Mechanic. We're back at it, guys. We're back with 2011 F-150. Let's talk about it. So what we have today is my 2011 F-150. We're back to working on it again. I was on my way into work and was hearing this clicking noise coming from this side of the vehicle. And it was coming off of the guardrail. I was listening to it bouncing off. I opened the window, I could hear it real bad. And it took me a second and it clicked, not physically, but it did click. I think I've recognized the sound. And if you're familiar with these trucks, they have a vacuum actuated four-wheel drive system. So what I did was while I was rolling, I decided to click it in four-wheel drive, which deactivates the vacuum and lets the springs push those hubs out and mesh with the wheel. And that allows the front drivetrain to lock with the front wheel. Sound went away, so I know I got a bad actuator. So today what we have is a new actuator we're going to install on this passenger front. I have done this once before, about 80,000 miles ago. So we're going to do this again. Shouldn't be too bad. I've already kind of looked at it. Nothing looks horrible. And what I went with today was what was available, which is a Dorman product. You see the part number right there. We're going to go ahead and replace this. We're going to do that right now. So the first thing we do is going to get this front wheel up in the air. All right, now that the vehicle's up in the air, we're going to go ahead and get these tires off. So what you can see is while the vehicle is shut off, the front drive shaft is spinning with the hub. So I'm going to go ahead and start it up and show you what happens next. So now that the vehicle is started up, this vacuum line here should be providing relief. As you can see, it's not spinning, but you can hear that, and that's what I was hearing. And that's this vacuum line right here. Either could be one of two things: not providing enough vacuum, which I can feel the vacuum, or the actuator has failed. And 9 out of 10 times, that's a failed actuator. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and remove this brake assembly. All right, with most of the brake hardware off, I am noticing I'm down to my last, I would say less than 20%. So I want to put on new pads on this as well. All right, with that off, we should be able to knock this guy off. There we go. So with that off, the next thing we have to take off is the wheel bearing. And that has 4 bolts in the back here. One more to go. There you go. Now the next thing is to get this to break free, but we have to take a cap off here and get a nut off right there, the drive shaft. And this nut is not put on very tight. It gets something like 13 foot-pounds or something. I'll have to look it up. And so what that does, that is now freeing up the drive shaft from the hub. And this, I can already tell, this has already gotten loose, so that's good. What you can see in here, this right here, I'll move this around, you can see this is what slides back and forth and engages the axle side, which has splines, to the hub side, which has splines. I actually have a new wheel bearing, but I think this wheel bearing is fine. I'm going to spin it a couple times to make sure it all sounds good. So from here, we have a cotter pin that we have to take off, and then we have a nut that will take off the upper control arm. Straighten this out as much as possible so we can push it back out the hole. Like so. Nope, 13/16 it is. And then from there, we just got to drop this down and lift this up a little bit. Now with that out, I believe these are like 8 millimeters. All right, that's all 3 bolts out. Now the part, trying to get this guy out of here. There we go. And this is the old one here. And this basically just gets pushed back and forth. And you can hear it creates suction. But if it doesn't move freely and can't fully collapse, you get that grinding, and that's that steel ring there that's meshing with this as well as the hub. Here's the new one. Moves nice and good and free. Moves really nice and smooth. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe all these surfaces down and make them nice and clean. Put our 3 original bolts back in. And you don't want to overload this with grease. It's already pre-greased up. If you put too much grease in there, that can also prohibit some movement. The big key thing is everything has to be clean so it can seal properly. So now we're going to gently glide this guy back in like so. There we go. And we'll just make sure these line up. There we go. So I've got the splines lined up right here. So these are now able to move. This is lined back up here. We're going to go ahead and get that nut started. Bend this down. Bend that one up. There you go. And that will stop that from coming loose. All right. So axle shaft is in. We'll go ahead and hook up our vacuum line. Next thing we'll do is remount or wheel bearing and hub assembly. But before I do that, I'm going to wipe this down one more time. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of grease to here. So I'm going to put some high temp wheel bearing grease, just a little bit on all these contact surfaces. They'll give it some rust proofing and a nice good slick surface for mounting against. Not a ton, but just a little coating across it all. There we go. So everything's just got a nice smooth coat. Not trying to load this thing up at all. There you go. And what you'll see is everything just has a nice little coat of wheel bearing grease. All right, moment of truth. Woo-wee! And that's what we wanted to hear. Nothing. Awesome. All right, let's get this thing back together. All right, just got back from the store and picked up some CarQuest premium gold pads. So we'll put those on, but the first thing we have to do is we have to get some of the old hardware off, and there's little stainless clips on here. The new pads come with the new clips, so we're gonna put on those new clips as well. Then we're going to put some slide guy, which is what I've been using for a long time. Seems to work pretty good, brake lubricant. I used to use the pink stuff, which I still have, or the purple I should say, which I will say overall the purple stuff isn't bad, but I no longer use it on the pins because I've had, and if you do a little research, you'll see some people have said, had some issues with the pins corroding and getting locked up. So I've been using slide guy for a long time, but I have used the purple in the past, so I'm just going to stop using that. Pop out these pins. So I'm going to pull these pins out. I'm just going to wipe them down. And this was probably, I mean, as old as these pads have been, these are probably purple on here, which now it looks brown. So I'm going to go clean these pins up real good. Rubber looks good. I'm going to put some slide guy on these pins. Yeah, that was the purple that was on there. And that's part of the issue that some of the people have said, was that purple can get kind of messed up. So the slide guy I've had good luck with. So, and then I'm going to put some slide guy on this as well. Go ahead, put a little bit on that stainless surface just to help the parts move freely when they come to a stop. So there's two sides to these pads. The rounded side is the out. And the side with the humps go against the caliper. Those are for the pistons there. There you go. And these actually have a rubber pad on the outside, so I'm not going to put any purple on that. If it was just a metal backing, I would. Now time to compress these back in. And I have a toolkit here that has specially designed for pushing pads back in. There's several tools out there. I like this one because it has a left and a right. As well as two different of these wing nuts. So I can push both sides in because there is two. It comes with these little special backers on them. And these plates. One spins left, one spins right. And we're just going to push these in simultaneously, nice and slow, until they fully compress in. Before we do that, let's go pop that reservoir cap. Back into that reservoir, nice and easy. And we're just going to slowly turn these pistons back in a little at a time. Now we can slide this back on here. Grab our bolts. There we go. New brake pads, new IWE, everything's been greased up. We verified it, everything's tight, tight, tight. Pull that out of there, don't want to leave that in there. That's everything. Time to get the wheel on, and then I'll go ahead and pop the new pads on the other side. All right, there we go. We have finished this project up. When I was on the other side, did find out, had a stuck slide pin on the lower side. Was able to get that out through a lot of elbow grease, got it to start moving, got it knocked out, wire wheeled it, wire brushed the inside with basically a gun cleaning kit. Got that cleaned out, grease, wipe it, spray it, tons of times over, got it sliding good. So new pads, both sides, new IWE on this side that now stops clicking when it's engaged. So I appreciate it, guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this type of content, make sure to give this a thumbs up, comment below, and I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy, guys.